In a land ruled by fear and oppression, where darkness overshadowed hope, there lived a man named Nehemiah. He was a cupbearer to the king of Persia, a position of trust and prestige, but his heart was heavy. One day, he received news from his homeland, Jerusalem, that brought tears to his eyes. The walls of the city lay in ruins, and its gates were burned with fire. His people were in distress, vulnerable to attack, and Nehemiah felt an ache deep within his soul. But Nehemiah was not one to simply mourn. He prayed fervently for days, seeking God's guidance. "Lord, grant me favor in the sight of this man," he begged, referring to King Artaxerxes. After weeks of prayer, he mustered the courage to approach the king. As he stood before the throne, his heart raced. The king noticed his sadness and asked, "Why is your countenance sad, seeing thou art not sick?" With trembling lips, Nehemiah shared his burden. "The city of my father's sepulchres lieth waste, and the gates thereof are consumed with fire." To his amazement, the king responded with compassion, "What dost thou want?" Nehemiah quickly prayed in his heart and requested permission to return to Jerusalem and rebuild the city's walls. The king not only granted his request, but also provided letters for safe passage and supplies for the journey. Nehemiah set out with a band of men, filled with a sense of purpose. Upon arriving in Jerusalem, he surveyed the damage under the cover of night, taking in the desolation. But he also saw potential, the potential for restoration, for unity, for strength. The next day, he gathered the people and shared his vision. "Ye see the distress that we are in," he urged. "Come, let us build up the wall of Jerusalem, that we be no more reproach." Though met with skepticism, Nehemiah's passion ignited a spark among the people. They rallied together, picking up tools and stones, united in a common cause. However, not everyone was pleased. Sanballat and Tobiah, leaders of neighboring lands, mocked them, saying, "What do these feeble Jews? Will they fortify themselves?" But Nehemiah, undeterred, prayed again and pressed on, declaring, "The God of heaven, he will prosper us." Day by day, the wall began to take shape, and with it, so did the hope of the people. Yet the opposition grew fiercer. They plotted to attack, but Nehemiah remained vigilant. Half the men worked while the other half stood guard, swords at their sides, ready to defend their mission. Despite the trials, the wall was completed in just 52 days. The people rejoiced. They had faced ridicule, threats, and exhaustion, yet they stood victorious. In their unity, they had rebuilt not just a wall, but their faith and identity as God's chosen people. Nehemiah reminded them, "The joy of the Lord is your strength." And so, in a time of despair, a cupbearer became a leader, a city was restored, and a people found their way back to hope.